Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 3. Holy Hannah, I cannot even believe that it's part 3. I mean, I can. This was expected of me. I saw this coming, but it's so sad for those youth that were in the company that had to wait all 3 weeks, because that's a long time. That's like a whole month. My notes app said on screen time that I've been on notes an hour and 25 minutes. I'm totally not surprised, but that's how long I've been recording this episode so far. I mean, this episode, last episode, and the one before that, because I've kind of paused in the middle and wrote some more notes and stuff down. So, yeah, add that to the 8 hours I took on the video, and time-wise, I'm a quality time person, and time-wise, I have spent a long time showing you guys how much I love you, so I hope you know by now. Okay, I'm just going to go right into it, and then I will get to all the other things, but I stopped on Haley, and I wanted to get back to Haley. Haley was absolutely adorable and so precious, and I just love her with all my heart. I'm going to state one more time, please, please, please do not compare what you got for someone else. Back to Haley, I am going to get to see her, or I guess I would have already get to see her again after this posts next week, because she's going to be at BYU for a few days, and I have another session at BYU. So I'm super, super excited for that. Then I had that really cool moment with her when she said that it spiked, and she was always so dedicated to get up in the morning and to do her running, and several of the other girls in youth did that as well, but I feel like she's kind of the lead of that. She had a huge, big thing for cross country and was on TV and everything, and she was worried about her wristband because it was kind of a formal event. I guess we ended up convincing her to keep it on, and so she has this beautiful, beautiful pink prom dress on, and then she has her cute little FSY band on still, and I guess someone asked her about it, so she got a cute little missionary opportunity, which I think is awesome. But yeah, she was just awesome, and it's so hard for me to just not have words, because I don't know how to describe to each and every single one of you, my kids, my youth, how much you changed my life individually, and I want you to know that. So Haley, thank you. I remember that when I went on that religious rant, I looked at your eyes a lot. And I think one of the reasons was because you were right there in front of me and across the room. But you were a safe place that I could look at. And I know I looked around at everyone and I tried to do that, but I think I looked at you a lot because, once again, you were right there. But I felt safe and comfortable talking to you and looking you in your eyes. And I just want to let you know that your cute little smile and your cute little face is just one of my favorite things there ever will be. In that video that I made for you all, there's several little portions in it. There's one part where she's dancing with Carter. He does something silly or something, and she smiles at it. And I just have that burned into my memory because it's just the most precious thing in the whole world. So yes, thank you, Haley, for everything, everything. And you're incredible. Lauren, I love your sweet spirit. You were absolutely amazing. And I love, love, love that you were just so, I don't want to use the same words that I use for everyone else, but honestly, I just love you all so much. But Lauren, you were so, what's the word? I don't even know. Spiritual? I don't know. I'm having a hard time coming up with words now. This is embarrassing. But I just am so grateful for you, and I love you. And I loved how kind you were to everyone. And you weren't as loud or vocal as maybe Abby was, which is not bad. I'm not saying Abby, that's bad. But you were just as important. And I love your sweet laugh and your little giggle, and I can also see your face smiling. And I just am so beyond grateful for you and for the impact you had on our company and how we wouldn't have been the same without you. I'm so grateful for your friendship with Haley and getting to know all of the other girls and helping them all feel comfortable, because that matters and that helped a ton with our unity. So thank you. And I'm proud of you and I love you and I hope you continue to be strong. I truly believe that your soft-heartedness or your kindness gave me courage to continue to share and continue to be vulnerable. And I really appreciate how uplifting you were. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So valuable to our company. So thank you. The next person I want to shout out is Bennett. I didn't get to know Bennett very well, but I am so grateful for the time that I did. I remember we got to sit next to one another during the music program, and we kind of talked about which one was the bass, and it was just so fulfilling to sit next to you and to get to know you better. I am so grateful that I got to hear your testimony, and I know, even though you didn't say much, that you are a smart kid, smart guy, and I really hope that you use this to bless others and to make a difference. I think you're going to be an amazing missionary. I think you are an amazing person. Once again, your easy flow, you were kind of just willing to go along with the craziness of our company, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you for playing a vital role and keeping us all together, because it was awesome and super helpful and needed. So thank you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. I wish I got to know you better, but I'm really, really grateful of the time that I did get to know you. So just know that I love you as well. I have Emma and Mason left. Emma. Oh, Emma. You are awesome. And I know I've said basically everyone's awesome, and it's because they all are. Because you all are. But you are something else. And I have loved getting to know your sweet spirit. When FSY ended and we said goodbye, I have had a really hard time. And I guess I'm kind of foreshadowing my vulnerability next. Not yet, though. But I've had a really hard time. And anytime that I've said anything in the group me or have messaged the girls, you are one of the first people to answer and to say that you love me and say that you miss us and miss our faces. And it has helped me more than you know. I love that you were the first person to come sit by me on Friday in the hall before lights out. And we just kind of talked and laughed. And I love that we got to look at pictures together and share pictures. And I loved your cute little messy bun. I'm picturing all of your faces as I say these and as I give you a little message, and it just makes me happy. I loved your smile. I love how sweet and responsible and mature you are. I just love you, and I think about you, and I think about how much you've done and how much you've helped me. And I can only thank you so much. I'm actually looking at a picture of us right now because you wanted a picture on Thursday when we were dressed up all nice. And I also have that awkward picture where my hair's like flown out into the side. And it's really funny and you're just smiling at me. But thank you. And I feel like one of the things about you is that you were never judgmental of me. And you were always so kind and so thoughtful. And I can only thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I can only thank you enough. I can only thank you enough because you helped me so much. And I am so grateful and so blessed that you were in our company and that you helped unite us all together and helped us get along so well. But I am just so grateful that we crossed paths, that we got to know one another. And then also I'm remembering you were walking to the bathroom one night and I was just sitting there. And you just passed and you just said, I love you. And it meant so much to me. Shoot, the tears are coming out. That's embarrassing. But it meant so much to me. And I can only thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. I've done it again. I've done it again. I can't thank you enough. So, yes, thank you. And I love you. Okay, so Mason's next, but he's not going to be happy if he's listening to this because I'm not going to talk about you yet. Oh, sorry, Mason. Okay, I need to go into the religious rant because that is super connected to how I feel about Mason. Okay, so let me start. I'm not going to really share names other than Mason's name because he was so important to the story, but we were walking up to the music program and we only had a few minutes. And I was kind of talking to them about the reverence and reverence discussion because that's one of the things that you talk about and how reverence is a profound love and respect for God. And I was trying to teach them that and then they started asking me how much I was paid and how much I made and all these things, and that's fine. I mean, I wasn't offended by that, but I don't know, it kind of just kept going, and one of the boys, and once again, won't mention names, it wasn't Mason, but one of the boys was like, oh, so that's why you're doing it. That's why, because you're making money. And I was like, I just kind of let it go. I was like, whatever, but I was in my head, I'm thinking, no, that's not why I do it, but whatever. So I kind of let it go, and then we moved on. As we were walking up there, Mason was walking next to me, and as I've mentioned before, I'm kind of aggressive, right? And kind of assertive. I can be loud and I can be straightforward about things and sarcastic. And so Mason was kind of teasing me, but it was very aggressive teasing. And he was just teasing me about how he's going to go to my AC, so the person above me, and tell her that I've been bullying him and that he feels like I've been harassing him or whatever. And I just was sitting there and I had no idea how to reply because he was teasing me, but it didn't feel like teasing. I don't know. So I was just sitting there like, I don't even know what to say right now. And he was like, do you think you'd get fired? And I was like, I don't know if I'd get fired. They do an investigation, but I don't know if I'd get fired. And then another boy said, well, don't worry, you'd still get paid your $800. And that's how much I get paid, just so you know. They had a new raise. You can look it up. It's not like it's this big secret. And I think I stopped walking, actually. I either stopped walking or in my head I stopped because I was like, no. That is a line that I am tired of being crossed. That will not pass, basically. I looked him in the eye and I said, it's really rude when you say that to me. Please stop. And it was like, as soon as that left my mouth, the tension arose and it infiltrated everything. And we were walking outside up to the building, up to the Van Meter, and the tension was palpable. I mean, you could cut it with a knife. No, actually, you couldn't cut it with a knife. You would need a machete to cut the tension. You could smell the tension. You could breathe the tension. You could hear the tension. You could, taste it. It was so palpable and so present. I'm walking up this hill thinking in my head, oh my heavens, what have I done? How do I fix this? We are going to the super spiritual thing. We're going to the music program. We're going to go learn about Jesus and listen to this wonderful music and then testimony meeting and feeling the Spirit. And I have just put us in a not spiritually safe environment. It is so tense right now. What do I do? And I'm walking up there thinking help me, please help me. Heavenly Father, I need help. Please, please, please. How do I break this tension? Please help me, please help me. I'm just struggling, and one of the cars that was driving up some youth that couldn't walk up the hill was right there, and I smiled at them and waved and laughed about them being a taxi, and they all laughed and smiled back, and then we kept walking, and I was like, dang it, that did not work. The tension is still palpable. I can still feel it in the air. And then Carter was in the music program, but he wasn't there, and he normally plays music on his speaker that's church music, and he was not there, obviously, so there wasn't any music, and I was like, where's Carter? We need some music. Another attempt that failed, did not work to break the tension, and so I'm still walking up there, and I am freaking out, how can I save this? How can I save this? Because this is bad. This is really bad. I don't know what to do. This is really bad. And as I'm walking up, the Spirit says to me, tell them why. Tell them why you're an FSY counselor. This is, I said that I was going to cry, guys, and honestly, I just felt the Spirit as I said that, which is just funny, but tell them why you're an FSY counselor, and I was like, okay, I can do that, and I opened my mouth, and I didn't stop. And if the other one with my fist hitting the table was a religious rant, then I don't know what this one was. It was a religious rant on steroids. It was so passionate and fervent. I opened my mouth and I did not stop talking. I did not stop talking. It was I don't know, it was this floodgate just was flowing out of my mouth, and I started shaking. I had tears in my eyes. I was having not hard time breathing, but I was breathing kind of heavy. I was shaking really bad, and I was just talking and talking and talking, and I just couldn't stop. I shared story after story after story of why I am an FSY counselor. I shared about how a bunch of 20 to 30-year-olds run this program and how it only works because the Lord runs this program, and how an abundance and a myriad of miracles have to take place for this to be a success each week. And I talked about how the prophet cares about the youth, so he made it possible for all youth to be able to go. It's so affordable now. It used to be $500 to $600, and now it's less than $100. I talked about how you get these kids, you get these youth, right, for 5 days. And you love them as much as you possibly can. And then you send them home. And you really hope that the Savior goes home with them. And you really hope that He stays there. And you know that He does. You know that He goes home with them. But you don't know if they will be able to feel His love. Because His love is absolutely perfect. But our ability to feel it is not. That's an paraphrase from what Rendlin said. I shared that too. I shared all of these things that I'm telling you right now in this with more passion and more fervence. But I talked about how a lot of these youth come from broken homes, or they come from really, really hard situations. And maybe their family life is perfect, but maybe they are really, really struggling with something. And so they come, right? And I have them from Monday to Friday. You say goodbye really early Saturday, so I don't count Saturday. So you have them for 5 days, and you do the best you can. You do the best you can. And sometimes it's not much, but I was explaining how I do as much as I possibly can. I love them as much as I possibly can. And then I hope the Savior goes home with them. I only had 3 boys with me, and I think I had 5 girls with me. But the boys were all ahead walking with me. I had 3 boys walking with me. I was basically talking to them because the girls couldn't super hear me. And I was talking about how I would love to go with them. I would love to go with them and make sure that they continue to feel loved, and they continue to know who they are, and they continue to remember and do those good habits so that they can feel loved. But I can't. And keep in mind that as I say this, I'm literally shaking. I am shaking. I am crying. Like, I am so into this. And then I also mentioned that the money is nice because I need it, because I have school to pay for, because I have a car to pay for, because I have groceries to pay for, because I have gas to pay for. But that is not why I'm an FSY counselor. And my mind works kind of in an essay format. And so I would say something, I would share a story, and then I'd say, and that's why I'm an FSY counselor. Then I would share another story, and then I'd say, and that's why I'm an FSY counselor. So when I said the money is nice because I need it, but that's not why I'm an FSY counselor. And so I kept saying that, like, that's why I'm an FSY counselor. That's why I'm an FSY counselor. So now it's kind of become a thing, like, that's why. But yeah, I kept telling stories and kept saying things, and then I would say, that's why. And as mentioned, I told a few personal stories and a few miracles that I've seen from youth of just absolute incredible stories that have changed my life forever. And I shared it with them. I shared it with these boys as we were walking up. Once again, the girls probably couldn't hear me very well. I talked to them after. They said they could hear bits and pieces, but not much of it. And then I said to them, I love you guys, like, for real. It is hard for me to say I love you. I told them that. I said, saying I love you is not easy for me to say. It is not something that just comes to the tip of my tongue really easily. I have to fight sometimes to get it out of my mouth. And it doesn't mean that I don't feel it. It's just that it is hard for me to say, because when I say it, I mean it with absolutely everything inside my heart. I work every single week to love my youth with a Christ-like love. Every single week, I work to do that. But I am not able to say, I love you, to every single person that I've ever met. And a lot of the times, certain people or other counselors or friends would say they loved me and give me a hug or whatever, and I'd say, back at ya, or same, or me too, or something. Because it's not like I don't feel love for them, but saying I love you is hard for me. It is hard for me, and it has been hard for me my whole life. For certain people, it's really easy, like my family, it's pretty easy. But anyway, so I kind of explained that to them, but I was once again shaking, crying in my eyes, super passionate. I said, I love you guys, like, for real. It's hard for me to say I love you, but I can say it to you because I feel it. I love you. And I said it really passionately. So I had this whole rant, right? It was a long one. It was intense. And I actually talked to 2 male counselors a week after that kind of saw this happening and got their perspectives on it. One of the counselors, we'll name him Jay. Jay was walking in front of me the entire time. He was in the back of his company and he was listening, right? So I was at the front of my company. Curtis was on break or something, and Jay was at the back of his company. So he was right next to me, probably the person literally in front of my feet. And he heard everything, right? Because he was right there. And he said he wanted to turn around and say something lots of times, but was prompted not to. He wanted to turn around and say, wow, that's really cool, or that's really special, or, I agree, or something. And he said that. He said, I wanted to turn around and say that was really cool, or, that's awesome. But he was prompted not to say anything, which is just crazy to me. And then another one of the male counselors that I talked to, this is Counselor C. We'll name him C. He only saw me towards the end. And this is when I am talking about the prophet caring about the youth and the Lord caring about the youth and how a myriad of miracles have to happen for this to pull off and all these things. And he saw this and he thought I was ripping a new one on them. He thought I had completely lost my temper and was losing it on them. He said he thought I was a sweet person, but was slightly scared, slightly terrified. He thought about whether or not he should step in and say something, but he didn't. But he was literally like, I was scared. You were intense. And I was like, true. I'll say what else he said when I get to the next part of the story. So then we go into the music program and we're sitting down and I kind of get separated by some of my youth. So they have the counselors always sit on the edge. And then they have the youth sit on the rows in the middle and stuff. So I got separated by my youth and I ended up sitting next to Bennett, which was really nice. He was one of the boys that was there. And then Mason and I got separated and he got sent down another row. One of my girls was like, hey, Kyra, can I go to the bathroom? And one of the things with FSY is the counselor has to take their youth to the bathroom. And so I was like, yeah, I need you to get a buddy because we have to have a roll of 3. So there has to be 2 youth and a counselor, or 2 counselors and a youth, or an AC and a counselor and a youth. Basically, there always has to be 3 people. So I was like, get a buddy. And then Mason was there and he said, does it have to be another girl or can I go? And I said, oh, you can go. And he was like, okay. And so we go to the bathroom and the girl goes to the bathroom. And Mason just looks at me and I'm like, hey, just meet back here so we can go back in. And he goes, yeah, I don't need to go to the bathroom. Can I give you a hug? And I said, yes. And I don't want to embarrass him, but that was probably one of the most fulfilling, most rewarding, best moments of my FSY career, and maybe of my life, because he told me that what I said to him really stuck out and what I was saying to them really stuck out, and that it spoke to him. And I think we both cried a little bit, but we were hugging each other, and this is where I didn't want to spoil it. But then C saw, and he saw me hug Mason. I was like, wow, she pulled a mom. He was kind of like acting out like what he was thinking. He was like, moms are like, you did something wrong. And then the kid is like, yeah. And then mom's like, okay, give me a hug now, And he was like, you totally pulled a mom. But that's not what I did. I hadn't been saying anything about how they were doing anything wrong. I was just sharing why I was an FSY counselor. That perspective made me laugh so hard. I just loved it. So yeah, one of the best things ever. But Mason, I saved you for last because I don't think you'll ever know how much of an impact you had on me and how much I love you and how I will never, ever, ever, ever forget our friendship and our relationship because it means so much to me. And I am so grateful. It's unfortunate that it took until Thursday night for us to finally be friends and get along, but we were able to enjoy Friday together and it was awesome. I was kind of worried that after having kind of a vulnerable moment together that Mason would want to not acknowledge it the next day, and so I was prepared for that. We don't want to make him feel uncomfortable by being all up in his space or anything. But then that morning we were walking to breakfast and he's like, hey, Kyra. And so from that, we just kept being friends and kept talking and hanging out, and it was just awesome. I wrote everyone a note, and I wrote Mason a note as well, and I hope that he always remembers what I told him. And I basically said that he was awesome, and I told him that he should be an FSY counselor someday, and I hope that he is. Sorry I had to wait till week 3 to listen to this episode, and till it was like 25 minutes in, but I am so extremely grateful that our paths crossed, and I've never had my heart feel so full, so thank you. I'm running out of room, but I decided I'm going to do an extra. It's going to be longer than 30 minutes because I don't want to do a part 4. That's just too much. Okay, so the other thing that I wanted to share was that one of my youth, and I won't say who, but one of my youth wrote me a note. Sometimes I get multiple notes for the weeks, and it's been really fun to get notes from my youth. And honestly, it's one of the most rewarding things and most fulfilling and joyful experiences that you can have as an FSY counselor is getting a note from a youth. And this note was so tender and so sweet, and it has made me tear up almost every time I read it, and has made my heart just so full. So to that youth, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I will always have that note, and I will always have memories of spending time with you, and so I'm so grateful for that. And I can only thank you. I can't thank you enough. So thank you for giving me that treasure that I will never forget and that I will always remember. So thank you. This is embarrassing that it's literally been 29 minutes and I still have more to say. This is crazy. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, I've kind of organized my thoughts, and hopefully it'll be under 40 minutes, but we'll see. 2 of my boys gave talks in sacrament meetings about FSY, and one of them shared his talk with us. And it was so special and so sweet, and I felt so proud of them. This is something else. So these are just some of the things that the youth have said that I wrote down because it makes me so happy. I won't say who it is, but one of them said, "I'm going to miss everyone, but I'm going to miss you the most." Just about broke my heart. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you. Thank you for everything. You've changed all of our lives forever. Well, plot twist, you've changed mine forever. I said that. Plot twist, you've changed my life forever. Back to the youth. I'm not ready to say goodbye to you yet. Thank you so much for everything. One of my youth said, if you ever need anyone to tell you that you're amazing, you have 14 people to hit up. Guys, I love Kyra so much. I just want to say that I'm a words person, and so thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, I guess it's time to get vulnerable. And I guess I've already been vulnerable, so there's that. But I am probably going to get more vulnerable than I've been. So, yeah, here we go. I'm just kidding. I'm going to share something else first. I asked my girls on Friday night before lights out what their first impressions of me were. And normally I don't do that because it scares the heck out of me. Like, what if they thought I was insane and they were like, this girl's going to be terrible? I would never ask my boys what their first impression of me was because I know it's not good. So I would never say. But some of my girls said they were glad I wasn't weird. And another one of my girls said she thought I was a know-it-all. And that actually was really comforting to me because I'm afraid I give that out. In fact, I know sometimes I give that vibe out. And it's not something I want to give out at all. I don't want to give that out ever, but I know that sometimes I do. But it was comforting to me because she knows I'm not now. And that was very helpful to me. So anyway, first impressions are funny. Never going to ask my boys what they thought of me first day or second day because I don't think they liked me very much. Oh, okay. Anyway, now I'm getting to the vulnerable part. So no longer tricking you. Okay, this is embarrassing. I have grieved them and missing them so much. I have never had such a hard time missing a group of youth before, ever. And I have really struggled. When we were saying goodbye, almost everyone was crying, and I was laughing and smiling, probably wider than I ever have before. Once again, in my one line a day book, I said it was probably one of the best days of my life. And I ended up saying to them, I said, guys, the reason I'm not crying right now is because this is awesome. And some of them were like, what? I was like, the fact that we are so sad to say goodbye to each other means that we did something right. We created friendships, relationships, bonds, and made memories. A really depressing goodbye is if we all said, sayonara, see you never, or bye guys. And a few people were like, so true. Abby J was like, so true. And it was just awesome. This is for really vulnerable. I need to tell myself that. I need to give that message to me because I keep thinking that something is wrong with me, with how much I miss them. I don't ever remember being this sad. I mean, I was at the temple the other day and I just couldn't stop thinking about them. And I was at my grandparents' house the other day and my heart was so heavy and my grandma was like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I just miss them so much. And I told my girls last night on GroupMe that I was missing them. And I just don't think they understand how sad I have been. This has been hard. I even looked up on Google how to get over missing someone. Because Google has all the answers, guys. It has all of them. But it was talking about, I don't remember what it said, but it said something about realizing that if you're sad, it means that there was good things in there. And so I was like, okay, maybe I need to remind myself that, or what I already said. It's just that I don't know. I just have never been this sad before, ever, 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 ever. I was praying last night and talking to Heavenly Father and Jesus about how much I miss my kids and how I'm really, really having a hard time with it and how I need to depend on Him because it's really hard. And I got the very distinct impression that sometimes Heavenly Father and Jesus miss us too. How often, I'm crying guys, how often do we step off the path or we go down a different road and we leave the covenant path or we leave being with them and He just wishes He could say, come back, I miss you. I miss you. I love you and I miss you. Come back. And that was such a cool experience last night to think about that I miss my youth so much, but I can only imagine what it is like for a Father in heaven to miss us. And so I guess as an FSY counselor, it's only normal for me to invite, right? Give you an invitation. So my invitation is that you will go back. Go back, get on the path. I don't care what it takes to get on there. I mean, if it takes a lot of work, you can do it. I believe in you. It is worth it. Heavenly Father, your big brother, Jesus Christ, they miss you. And they love you. And they know you. And they just want to wrap you in their arms and tell you how much they love you. And they miss you. To my youth, I've been having a really hard time. And it is extremely embarrassing because it has been so hard. Maybe embarrassing is not the right word. I'm just not used to it. Anyway, I hope you know that I love you. And there is a reason that there are 3 episodes. Because I mean, it's just been so hard. And I've been putting this off because I knew it would take a long time. But you're worth it. You're worth it. And as Carter said, this is just the beginning. And I have hope that that is true. I do. I really do. It's just the beginning. I'm going to skip a word in the quote of the day today, but thank you guys so much for listening and supporting and honestly listening to 35 plus minutes of this. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to embrace imperfection, find meaning, satisfaction, and joy from the journey. I'm Kyra, and this is Imperfectly Broken, the podcast.